Hello everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Nikhil Karmarkar. I'm currently pursuing my doctorate degree in business administration and specialization in strategic management. In addition to that, I'm more involved in deep interest in how ethics, regulation, and innovation intersect in our modern society. So, in today's topic, which is called as regulating and managing technology. Uh, so I've taken it from chapter 12 of the business and chapter 12 of the book called Business and Society by Lawrence Weber, Hill, and Wierzewski. And it's incredibly relevant in our time when technology is advancing faster than the policies that can keep up. So let's go ahead and discuss about it. So as we navigate as we are navigating a world which is shaped by most of the artificial intelligence, data science, biotechnology, and automation, we are also confronted with ethical questions and social responsibilities. Like who is setting the boundaries for all of these technologies, and how are we managing the risks while encouraging these innovations? So, so this presentation aims to explore those questions through real world examples and critical insights, and there are some of the case studies that we will be discussing here as well. So let's talk about this, how this background and objectives looks like. So here, let's look into the overview of this session. What we'll be overviewing. So we'll be beginning with a look at why this regulating technology matters, like the importance of these tech regulations. Then what risks might emerge if we don't regulate all of these technologies. Then we will then examine how both governments and business approach regulations, followed by a break there is a difference between both government and industrial roles. Then will learn, followed by all of these things, we'll get a breakdown of the ethical challenges and stakeholder roles. And in addition to that, I will also walk you through the recent case studies that illustrate what happens when regulation fails or succeeds. So let's have a look into it. So here I have stated here the four learning objectives that we are gonna overcome from all of this presentation. But so you see there are like four learning objectives, that it's understand, identify, analyze, and apply. This is how the process will be. So by the end of this session, you will be able to understand why technological regulations are important. Then we will be identifying the major key stakeholders. Then we will analyze and recognize key ethical and social concerns and challenges that we generally get when while regulating these technologies. And what we will do is we will apply these technologies, like what apply this what we have learned to real world regulatory case studies, and we'll see how they are affected over there. So these are the learning objectives that we will be clearing out from this session. So let's start with why these regulations or these technologies is really important. You'll see I have placed out like three additional needs that we require for regulation. So first is about unregulated technologies, like whether it's a social media, AI, or genetics. They can lead to unintended harm. Like they can be how are you gonna prevent misuse of it, and and how it's going to be harm over that. Then you can think of a date. For example, you can think of a data leaks, misinformation, job displacement, or algorithmic bias. So these are the examples of like the why we these are the kind of issues which says why we generally need these data regulation. And historically, governments have like after like a lot of these issues happen due to technologies. Historically, governments have stepped in when industries pose public risk, as seen in antitrust laws during the industrial era. So today's digital landscape presents a new frontier that demands similar oversight. That's why we we are needing these regulations over all of this kind of stuff. So let's talk about what government is doing to regulate all of these things. Uh, governments generally use several tools to regulate technology, including legislation, compliance audits, and public policy. In the United States, agencies like FCC, FTC, and FDA they play a major roles over here. On international on inter if you go internationally, like from the international EU's like European Union's General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR, it has become a global benchmark for their data privacy. A notable example that we can take here is the Facebook Cambridge Analytical scandal, which exposed massive privacy violations and led to widespread scrutiny. Uh, Government interventions may include setting transparency standards, taxing digital giants, or mandating ethical disclosures. For example, the in this case, like FTC has fined tech firms for deceptive data practices, and Congress continues to debate how to regulate the artificial intelligence and digital monopolies. The challenge here is striking a balance between both innovation and data protection. So these are the government regulations that what currently stand out. So what businesses are doing to regulate all of these things? So beyond the external laws, many firms practice self-regulation through internal ethics codes, privacy policies, and artificial intelligence oversight boards. Let's take an example of Microsoft here. So Microsoft has created an internal artificial intelligence ethics committee that evaluates whether their projects align with the human rights and fairness principles. So these voluntary efforts can build trust among all of the users, but without accountability, the risk of being superficial over here. So it's still like each and every business has their own regulation, but it varies as per the data protection and privacy. Let's talk about the ethical and social concerns that we have while regulating all of these technologies. So here's where the things get more complex. So first thing is about unregulated facial recognition tools have shown racial bias over here, and so artificial intelligence hiring algorithms have perpetuated discrimination over here. Meanwhile, millions of people lack in digital access, widening socio-economical gaps. And there is even an issue of constant surveillance. Many users don't know how much data is being collected or for what purposes. So these are not just technical issues, but they are ethical issues over here. So let's look into the emerging areas of concerns. The first thing about AI systems. So AI systems are now making higher decisions, drive vehicles, and even they're writing the articles as well. Uh, CRISPR lets us edit human genes, and autonomous cars raise legal questions about the accountability. So these innovations are great, means they're all over the technology, but they push the boundaries of what's possible and what's ethical. So even if we are going ahead with the innovation, they're like the ethical issues are also great going expanding at the same way. So how do we generally go how do we govern these technologies that evolve faster than the laws can be written? So let's look at it. So Here, let's look into one of the case studies over here. As we discussed, like European Union has one data protection control unit. It's called GDPR. It's a greatest example of proactive regulation. It was introduced in 2018. We generally here to protect the rights of the European Union citizens, and it's affecting like it has a it is going beyond the global effect. So it empowers users with control over with their data. It mandates consents and imposes heavy penalties for non-compliance. Uh, through any like even though initially they focused only on Europe, but it is like as I've seen, like it has influenced the global companies to update their policies across all of these markets. So there's some good start, and hopefully it will go beyond. So let's look into the new case study. So there's another case study in the United States, which is about antitrust and tech hearings. In 2020 and 2021, Congress had called the leaders from various big techs like Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook to testify about their growing market dominance. So here, like a lot of the questions were asked. Like the most important, the questions were asked are like, are these firms suppressing the competition? Are consumers being harmed? Like a lot of these questions were asked when in front of like various senators over here. The hearings here showcased how governments are still catching up to the scale and the speed of the digital monopolies. Like even if these technologies are going ahead, government is not able to get up to that level to regulate them, and they're still in the question phase of like how these things are happening and can be controlled. So we have another case study over here, which is from the San Francisco facial recognition ban, which happened with the local government took the action, and what were the ethical concerns over and bias surveillance and impact on the policies of tech. So here, San Francisco was decision was about to ban facial recognition for law enforcement. Officials cited its concern about racial bias and mass surveillance, that it may take the data privacy of the people. So these moves so this kind of moves highlight the power of local governments to shape ethical tech use, especially when national legislations lags behind. So now we have seen the cases over here and everything what government is doing, what business are doing. So, so we need to see here like the role of stakeholders, like who is responsible for money managing this tech. It's not only about the government, but businesses, advocacy groups, developers, are everyday and everyday users all play a part over in this kind of like regulating this kind of things. So it can be done by like as I see, like there are like a lot of governments, corporation, NGOs, consumers. They need to play a key. All of them need to play a key role while controlling all of these things. Only through a multiple stakeholder approach, with a collaboration and transparency with each other, it can create frameworks that are inclusive, adaptive, and ethical for all of the users. So, as we have gone through all of this business, all of these regulations, controls, and how the things are moving ahead now, to recap, like what we covered here. So, the regulation is essential for protecting society from technological harm. The governments and businesses must share the responsibility over here. They need to ethics and equity must be at the corporate at the core of the innovation while they're doing while the technology is going ahead. And the most importantly, these decisions shapes the future that we will be living in. So it's really important that the regulations are equally taken as important as innovations. So let's conclude this like what we have learned. First thing is about regulating and managing technology is no longer a frustrating idea. It's necessary. It's a necessity of our present, where we are currently living in. And if we want a world where technology serves humanity and not the other way around, we must advocate for thoughtful, inclusive, and ethical regulation. Yep, that's all I have from my side. Thank you everyone for engaging with this topic today. I look forward to have any questions that you would like to ask me. For further, I have used a reference of the book called Business, especially chapter 12 of the book called Business Society 17th edition. For further learning, I recommend reviewing this book, exploring the FTC's policies, FTC policy archives, and visiting websites like Center of Human Technology, which focuses on aligning technology with human well-being. So thank you everyone for joining. I hope to see you and get all of the questions that you might be having. Thank you.